Welcome to Touch Develop's informational video MagicMatch. Through this video, you will write a simple program that asks the user to enter two names and outputs a compatibility percentage. This video introduces basic while loops and if statements. We will begin on the home page by selecting the main method. The first step is to create a new variable by selecting add below followed by variable. This variable will hold the first name that the user enters, therefore I choose to name it name1. We need to assign name1 to an empty string because it does not hold a name at the moment. We now need to make name1 a global variable by selecting name1 followed by promote to data. We then create a new variable by selecting add below followed by variable. We name it name2 because this will be the second name that the user enters. We again assign an empty string to this variable and make it a global variable by selecting name2 and pushing promote to data. After we finish this, we need to go back to the main method and create a while loop by selecting add below followed by while. This while loop will continue to ask the user to enter a name until they enter a string to make sure the variable does not contain an empty string. In order to do this, we need to enter name1 followed by isEmpty in the while statement because we want the while loop to execute until name1 contains a string. Below this, we create a new command by selecting add below followed by command. We then choose name1 followed by equals because we need to assign a name to this variable. After this, we select wall followed by *string because this will allow the user to enter the first name. In the parameter, we write enter a name because this is the command that the user will see. Below this, we create a new command and select wall followed by clear because we want to clear the wall after the user enters the first name. We then need to add an if statement within the while loop because if the user enters an empty string, we need to tell them to change it. In order to do this, we enter name1 followed by isEmpty in the if statement. Within the body of the if statement, we create a new command and select wall followed by prompt and enter too short, try again in the parameters. This will let the user know they entered an empty string. Because this if statement is in the while loop, it will again prompt the user to enter a name. We then create a new command and select wall followed by clear because we want to clear the wall after the user enters the name again. After we finish this, we need to follow the exact same procedure for the name2 variable. In order to create a new while loop, we need to select the entire existing while loop and choose add below followed by while. We then enter name2 followed by isEmpty into the while statement because we want the loop to continue to run until the user enters a name. Within the while loop, we need to allow the user to enter the second name, so we create a new command and select name2 followed by equals. In order for the user to enter the name, we need to select wall followed by *string. In the parameters of *string, we write enter a name because this is the prompt that we want the user to see. We then create a new command by selecting add below followed by command. We want to clear the wall after the user enters the second name, so we select wall followed by clear. The next step is to add an if statement within the while loop by selecting add below followed by if. If the user entered an empty string, we need to prompt them to enter another name, so we enter name2 followed by isEmpty into the if statement. Within the body of the if statement, we need to tell the user that they entered an empty string, so we select wall followed by prompt and enter too short, try again as the parameter. We then add a new command and select wall followed by clear so that the wall is cleared after the user enters the name again. After we have completed this, we now need to go back to the home screen and create a new method by selecting the plus button across from the word code. This method will help us organize our code so that the main method can be kept as simple as possible. We need to edit the name of this method by selecting the entire method and choosing edit. I choose to name this method find compatibility because this is a method that will calculate the compatibility percentage of the two names. After going back to the method, the first thing that we need to do is create a new variable by selecting add below followed by variable. This variable will hold a number that represents name1, therefore I choose to name it number1. In Touch Develop, each letter has the corresponding number, and to reach this number, we use the Unicode option. In order to do this, we select name1 followed by @0 and then to Unicode. We select @0 because we want to use the first letter of the name entered to determine the compatibility. Next, we create another variable by selecting add below followed by variable. We choose to name this variable number2 because it will hold the number that represents name 2. We now need to convert the first letter of the name into a number. In order to do this, we select name2 followed by @0 and 2 Unicode. We have now created two variables which hold numbers that correspond to the first letter of each name that the user entered. This is very helpful because now we can create compatibility percentages from these numbers. The next step is to create a new variable by selecting add below followed by variable. This variable will contain our compatibility percentage, therefore I choose to name it compatibility. I want to create a compatibility percentage based on how far apart the Unicode numbers are for the first letter of each name. The farther apart the numbers are, the higher the compatibility percentage will be. The first thing we need to do is calculate the difference between the two numbers. In order to do this, we need to select math followed by absolute value and enter number 1 minus number 2 in the parameter. We use absolute value to avoid negative numbers. The maximum difference between the two numbers is 25 because there are 26 letters in the alphabet. Since 25 multiplied by 4 is 100, I choose to multiply the difference by 4, so we will always have a percentage between 0 and 100. We then need to make the variable compatibility a global variable by selecting the name followed by promote to data. After completing this, we need to return to the main method. We now need to add the find compatibility code to the main method by choosing add below followed by command. We now need to find the word code and select find compatibility. After we have completed this, we need to return to the main method. We need to create another variable by selecting add below followed by variable. This variable will contain the sentence that will be displayed to the user, therefore I choose to name it answer. The first thing that we need to do is create a string by selecting the button that says pick and color followed by the ABC option. We then start out the sentence by writing the compatibility of. In order to concat a variable and a string, we need to select the button with the two vertical lines on it between each concatenation. After we select the concat button, we need to choose the variable name1 in order to display the first name that was entered. After selecting the concat button again, we then need to create another string by selecting the pick and color button followed by ABC. We write and in the string, followed by the concat button and the variable name2. Our sentence now reads the compatibility of plus the first name that the user entered, followed by the word and, plus the second name that the user entered. In order to complete this sentence, we need to select the concat sign and create another string that says is. After going back to the variable answer, we need to again select the concat sign, followed by the variable compatibility. The last piece of the sentence that we need to add is the percentage sign that will follow the number. In order to do this, we need to create a new string and select the percentage sign. Now that we have completed the sentence, we need to post the variable answer to the wall by selecting answer followed by post to wall. Congratulations, you have now completed this application. In order to run the application, select the play button at the bottom of the screen.